Moving into a new house is supposed to be an exciting adventure, but for me, it became a nightmare I could never forget. My family had just shifted to Woodridge Lane, a quiet suburban street with charming houses and friendly neighbors. At first, everything seemed perfect, the spacious rooms, the beautiful garden, and the promise of a fresh start. Little did we know what awaited us within those walls. The first sign that something was amiss came on the second night. As I lay in bed, I heard faint footsteps echoing from the hallway. Thinking it was just my imagination, I brushed it off and tried to sleep. But the sound persisted, growing louder and closer. My heart pounded as I pulled the covers tighter around me. I peeked out from under the sheets, and that's when I saw it, a shadowy figure lurking in the doorway. I froze, unable to move or scream. The figure seemed to be watching me, its eyes gleaming with an eerie intensity. I closed my eyes tightly, hoping it would vanish when I opened them again. But when I finally gathered the courage to look, it was still there, now standing at the foot of my bed. Panic consumed me, and I bolted out of the room, racing downstairs to wake my parents. As I burst into their room, they groggily asked what was wrong. I tried to explain, but the words came out incoherent, fueled by fear and adrenaline. My father, always the pragmatic one, searched the house but found no one. He attributed it to my imagination, a byproduct of being in an unfamiliar place. But I knew what I saw was real. Days turned into weeks, and the strange occurrences escalated. Doors would slam shut on their own, windows would shatter inexplicably, and chilling whispers echoed through empty rooms. My family started feeling uneasy, avoiding certain areas of the house, and the once cheerful atmosphere turned tense and grim. One evening, as dusk settled over Woodridge Lane, I was alone in my room, trying to distract myself with a book. But the feeling of being watched was unbearable, and I couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was just outside my window. I glanced outside, and my heart stopped. A pale face stared back at me, its hollow eyes fixated on mine. It wore a twisted grin that sent shivers down my spine. I stumbled backward, but the face didn't disappear. Instead, it pressed against the window pane, as if trying to reach me. Terrified, I screamed for my family, and they rushed to my side. By the time they arrived, the face had vanished, leaving only a trail of frost on the glass. My parents were visibly concerned now, realizing that there was more to this house than met the eye. We sought help from neighbors, who shared whispers of a dark history surrounding our home. Rumors spoke of a family who had lived in the house decades ago. They were said to have dabbled in occult practices and disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Locals claimed that their spirits still haunted the place, unable to rest in peace. Desperate for answers, my parents called in paranormal investigators, who set up equipment to capture any supernatural activity. As the night wore on, the investigators recorded strange EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, and captured eerie shadows moving across the walls. The evidence was undeniable. Our house was haunted. Feeling trapped and terrified, my family decided to move out. But the entity that had taken residence in our home wasn't willing to let us go so easily. The night before our departure, the haunting escalated to its peak. I awoke to the sound of my name being whispered, but this time, it wasn't just a voice. The whispers seemed to come from all around me, as if 100 invisible lips were murmuring in unison. Panic surged through me, and I knew I had to leave that place, and fast. As we rushed out of the house, the atmosphere felt suffocating, as if an oppressive darkness was trying to keep us within its grasp. We drove away, leaving behind the horror of Woodridge Lane and vowing never to speak of it again. Years have passed since that terrifying ordeal, but the memories of that haunted house still haunt me to this day. I warn anyone considering a move to Woodridge Lane, be wary of the house on the corner. For in its walls, an ancient malevolence lurks, ready to ensnare any unsuspecting soul that dares to call it home.